If you want to find out how Cyber Dragon Nachster impacts Cyber Dragon as a deck, you will 100% want to watch until the end of this video to find out. So getting right into this, before we talk about Nachster, what are the basics of Cyber Dragons? Well, to start, it is a go second machine based archetype. It really uses fusion, exceeds, and link summoning to accomplish its goals. So basically the deck does have all three of these types of monsters and just uses generic ones as well. This deck can OTK in general with cards like Overload, Fusion, and the real purpose as to why it goes second is because of contact fusing. It clears boards just very efficiently. So what is contact fusing? Well, basically you use one of your Cyber Dragons and one of your opponent's monsters. In the case of contact fusing, you only have two options, one of them being either a machine monster that your opponent has or a monster in the extra monster zone, and you contact fuse with one Cyber Dragon on your field and then one of those two types of monsters on your opponent's field into one of your CYBERNETIC contact fusions. And from there, because it's a summoning condition, your opponent doesn't really get any effects, it just kinda happens. Contact fusing deals with so many threats in general. For example, if you want to deal with a Sky Striker link, this is a great way of doing so. It just deals with Sky Striker links without triggering Ray, which is very optimal. This deck is just easily able to do it. Even if your opponent takes it with Widow Anchor, you can still clear it because you can use monsters on your opponent's field as well. Now yes, this makes the Cyber Dragon mirror match really weird, because if they ever commit two Cyber Dragons to the field, or just in general any Cyber Dragons at all, they can be used for CYBERNETIC fodder. So the mirror match is pretty weird, I'm not gonna lie. In the past as well, while extra links were still relevant, Cyber Dragons actually had a pretty good time at dealing with them. While Gumblar and Goki were at full power, you could easily out an extra link just because of the fact that you can normal summon a Cyber Dragon. You don't even have to activate any effects, and you just contact fuse with both of the monsters in your opponent's extra monster zone. And because of the fact that all of your Cyber Dragons have grave effects, that just means that you have more abilities to float and play through a Gumblar play. And because you get to choose the cards you discard, that makes it even easier to play through Gumblar plays. And really the last big thing is that this deck basically relies on the idea that all Cyber Dragon monsters are treated as Cyber Dragons on the field or in the graveyard, and this is relevant because of machine duplication, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So with the basics out of the way, what are some of the strengths of this deck? So to start, we have Cyber Dragon Infinity. If you don't know what Cyber Dragon Infinity does, I would be shocked, because this card is absolutely crazy. The idea is you rank up from Cyber Dragon Nova, which is another amazing Xyz monster, where you can detach a material, special a Cyber Dragon from your grave, and then there's attack gain, so it's really good, just adding more speed. But then if that wasn't enough, you just overlay on top of the Nova into an Infinity, and then the Infinity will have a potential negate if it can detach a material, and it can suck up an opponent's monster or any attack position monster on the field and attach it to Cyber Dragon Infinity as material. So Cyber Dragon Infinity is a really crazy monster, not just for playing through cards, but as well it's really good in the fact that you can use it going first and it's just another negate. And this is good as well generically because other decks can take advantage of this as long as they have two level 5 machines. Probably the best card in Cyber Dragons, however, is Machine Duplication. If this card resolves in Cyber Dragons, you're probably going to win that game. I mean, not necessarily, but Machine Duplication gets you so much value because you're special summoning two Cyber Dragons from the deck. And it's really hard to deal with a Machine Duplication resolving just because it's getting you so much value. Machine Duplication enables so many plays because now you have 3 monsters from 2 if you normal summon a core and then you activate Machine Dupe. Not only do you get the search from core to get a cyber spell and trap, but as well you get 2 Cyber Dragons from your deck, and then you're able to overlay for an Infinity. So Infinity is really good as well in this deck because it's just so easily accessible, because you're always going to have 2 level 5 monsters, and Machine Duplication is another way of enabling 2 level 5 monsters. Another strength with Cyber Dragons is overload into CYBERNETIC Rampage. So if you don't know what CYBERNETIC Rampage does, basically you can fusion summon it with with Overload, and then from there CYBERNETIC can send 2 light machines, pop 2 spells and traps, and then CYBERNETIC Rampage gets more attacks. And because of a card like Cyber Dragon Seeger, it makes it even more wild because now your CYBERNETIC Rampage has even more attack. Basically, Seeger is the Link 2 for Cyber Dragons, and it enables more OTK plays. It's really good because it's a Cyber Dragon, it's treated as a Cyber Dragon on the field and in the graveyard, and overall it's a really good Link monster in general, so that's another strength of the deck. Another strength being a going second deck that can go first if forced to. So obviously you optimally want to go second with Cyber Dragons, but if you're forced to go first, you have cards like Cybernetic Overflow to help you play going first. Obviously Infinity is a great card for going first overall because it's just a free negate. Overflow, if you don't know what it does, basically you banish Cyber Dragons with different levels, and up to the number you banish, you pop that many cards your opponent controls. So really you're getting a lot of value out of Cybernetic Overflow because you have so many Cyber Dragons with different levels. Obviously you may be wondering, well wait, then how is it easy to summon a rank 5? Well, it's because you're playing rank 5 turbo cards like Galaxy Soldier, and as well you're playing cards like HERZ, which not only floats but can also become a level 5 to enable more access to your Cyber Dragon Infinity and Nova. But then as well, you just have so much access to regular Cyber Dragon, it's not even funny. And obviously because this is a going second deck, you have access to all of the powerful going second cards. You have cards like Pankratops, Evenly Matched, Phantasme, all amazing cards for going second. Pankratops is obviously amazing, everyone knows what it does, it's a side deck staple. If you're not siding Pankratops, I don't know what you're doing, but Pankratops as well can be main decked in this deck because you're always wanting to go second. There's Evenly Matched, which may not be main decked because obviously it's not as great this format, but it's another great going second card dependent on the format that helps you just break boards in general. Against a deck like Sky Striker, it makes your life even easier, being able to clear all of their back row, and then you can contact Fuse and then just reestablish with an Infinity. And lastly, we have a card like Phantasme, which is a new addition to the deck, but is so good because it will help you dig further into outs to dealing with your opponent's board, digging into hand traps, digging into just whatever you need. Now that we've talked about the strengths of the deck and the basics, now let's talk about some of the flaws of the deck. To start, you want to go second with the deck, and obviously that can be a good thing at times, but typically going second is a bad thing. And it's not always bad, I mean it can be good dependent on the matchup, but really you do not want to go second against something like Danger Thunder Dragon when they just set up their unbreakable board, and obviously Cyber Dragons can't break it because they can't contact Fuse away any of the opponent's monsters into anything. They can only contact Fuse the Saryuja into something, but then that doesn't really help you out in dealing with the rest of the board. Plus they're gonna have an extra deck lockout, so you can't even contact Fuse regardless. There's also Orcus, where if they resolve Azathoth, you just lose because you need your monster effects to win, and there are other decks as well where you just do not want to go second against, really just any combo deck right now. So if you're going second, obviously against control decks it could be better, but against combo decks, and with the amount of combo decks that are degenerate, you really don't want to go second this format, especially when your contact fusions don't do anything to deal with the opponent's board. And the other thing is that these combos are 3 or more card combos, so the reason why this is relevant is because drawing hand traps make your hands worse and less explosive. It's harder to play through boards. Obviously, yes, if you hand trap your opponent, even though they could still play through it, like for example Danger Thunder can play through a hand trap like no man's business and can just set up the board, still it doesn't really matter and you're still gonna lose because they could play through the hand trap. So maybe having that extra card would have been nice, and then it's just in general harder to play through boards with one less card in your hand. And honestly, the deck doesn't really have any easily accessible 2 card combos, so it's usually 3 or more card combos, which makes it even worse. And because the best removal in the deck is contact fusing, if the contact fusing isn't effective against the deck you're playing against, you're in for quite a rough ride. So with the basic strengths and flaws of the deck established, how does Nachster impact Cyber Dragons? And well, to start, it's a free special summon. Obviously this deck may have trouble getting free special summon. Cyber Dragon is a free special summon, but this being a free special summon is also really good, especially with its effect. You don't have to waste your normal summon on this instead of core, and with its effect it just makes it so much better. So what's its effect? Well, the main idea is when it's normal or special summon, you revive a 2100 attack or defense advanced machine type monster. And this is actually really crazy because it could be anything. For example, it could be Infinity, it could be CYBERNETIC Rampage, it could be so many different monsters in the Cyber Dragon strategy. If you're discarding a Cyber Dragon, you can revive the Cyber Dragon. If you're in the grind game and you need to revive something that's more impactful, you can revive an Infinity and then set up a second Infinity along with that Infinity to have 2 negates, which is absolutely crazy. If you're going for gain, you can revive a CYBERNETIC Rampage you used the previous turn and use its effect again. So in general, it just helps your grind game so much. It helps you push more. It's just such a great combo piece, and it's also treated as another Cyber Dragon. So this means this is another machine duplication target, making your machine duplication even more consistent. And one really interesting thing is because of this grind game idea that Nachster just gets more impactful as the game progresses, making Nachster just better and better, and you want to get to the late game sooner and sooner. And obviously Infinity can suck up opponents' monsters if you want to clear something in order to deal with not only your opponent's monsters but to set up the negate, or if you don't have any monsters to suck up besides Nachster, well, you can also just suck up Nachster for the negate. Now, to be fair, this card does restrict you to only machine monsters, and well, the thing is, it doesn't necessarily hurt. It can be an either end of combo card or a grind game card. I've already described why it's a good grind game card, but you can also just use it at the end of your combo. And if you're linking with something like Infinity, for example, maybe you want to use Infinity for link summon, so you do that and then you revive it with Nachster, which may be an optimal play for you. Cyber Dragon Nachster is amazing for Cyber Dragons and give them quite a boost overall. You Cyber Dragon players are not going to be disappointed with this card, and overall it gives them quite a significant boost for the competitive metagame for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. Before you go, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this one. With that, I'll see you guys soon.